What's going on there, guys? We're back with another one, and today we got Jay Williams and JJ Redick speaking on Michael Jordan. And actually, they were making a point about Charles Barkley. You know, him and KD started up again, and Barkley has been consistent saying that he loves Kevin Durant's game, but he is the most sensitive player that he's ever come across. And Durant is like, I don't respect you, Chuck. I don't care what you have to say. And so Jay Williams and JJ Redick bring up a point about none other, the greatest of all time, to a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, to vast majority of people, Michael Jordan, and his sensitivities. And check out what they had to say, and I'll be back with my commentary to tell you what I think.
Reach the conference.
Can I go off script for 1 second? Just because I want to address it, because I think we're done on the Joel Embiid thing, but I really want to hear how you think about this one. Charles Barkley on 60 Minutes. I love Uncle Chuck. That is my guy. But when I hear him call our generation of players sensitive, right? The only moment I'm going to have where I drop the mic here is the greatest player of all time. Regardless, if you want to, for me, that's LeBron James. If you want to have it to be Michael Jordan, fine. Michael Jordan, the guy who can win through any situation, the guy who is tougher than nails itself, refuses to talk to Charles Barkley because of a criticism he had against him as it relates to being ownership. So in his generation, it looks like maybe this is all players of all different generations who use criticism as sensitivities to motivate us to be better. I just want to state that, JJ.
NBA players are amongst the most sensitive people in the world.
That's what makes us great.
And I would just say this to Chuck's comments. Players in different eras, they have no idea what we've gone through over the last 15, 16 years since social media. Social media has totally changed the paradigm around the attention, the criticism, the pressure, all of this stuff. This show itself, come on, man. Like, our era has grown up with this as our reality. That era, they had to deal with beat reporters, talk radio. I mean, come on. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. We live a digital life. Every single person lives a digital life. You can't escape it now.
Exactly.
Kevin Durant.
He's very sensitive, great player. He's part of that generation who think he can't be criticized. He's never looked in the mirror and says, man, was that a fair criticism?
We're in agreement. Today's players are a little more sensitive to criticism than your
That
generation.
would be an understatement.
About me specifically. If that was about any other player, that shit wouldn't even have hit like that. You know what I'm saying? But Charles Barkley said that about me, and like I said, disrespecting my game is a part of the storyline. You know what I'm saying? So like that's gonna hit for my storyline more than anything. But like, who's even looking at the game that way? Like that's how Charles Barkley looked at the game, and that's probably why he didn't get what he wanted, because he thought it was all about being a bus driver. When we all sitting on the bus together. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so they said a lot right there. And what I will say is sensitive players has always existed. Now, one thing that the people back in the day had, and you could go either way with this, you could find pros and cons for both eras, but one thing I will say they had to their advantage is a lot of things that happen in real time only came out in reports. For example, we heard about the Steve Kerr fight with Jordan when it happened. We heard about a lot of fights, you know, up until the 2000s, you know what I'm saying, that happened, and there were no videos. The Draymond Green Jordan Poole fight happened, and within 24 hours, we saw the film, you know, and now Jordan Poole has to live with those images being out there forever. And so the players from this generation, I mean, in that regard, Jordan Poole has to exercise more thick skin a little bit at times, because it's one thing for somebody to say you got beat up. You know, we saw O.J. Mayo, Tony Allen in the aftermath. We saw Steve Kerr's eye. You know, we saw a lot of things that happened back in the day. But the Draymond Jordan Poole thing, you know, he has to take a hit on his pride that the whole world can see. So, you know, it takes some tough skin to move on through that with that out there. Now, Jordan being sensitive to Barkley, calling his poor ownership skills out, And to me, Jordan is the best player ever, but he is sensitive. I mean, you could say two things can be true. You could be the best player ever. That don't mean I have to agree with, everything the best player, in my opinion, does, And I think as far as the Barkley thing, it's not that serious, man. Like, he was just doing his job, and Jordan has been a bad owner. You know what I'm saying? As far as, because his influence over taking certain picks, like, for example, the year that I think, was it Malik Monk? The year Malik Monk came out, one of those players came out, and the coach wanted Donovan Mitchell. Steve Clifford wanted Donovan Mitchell, and he took someone else who's probably not even on the roster now. They drafted Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they traded him for Miles Bridges, So they have a history of awful moves under Michael Jordan, and he's got his thumbprint on all of it. You know what I'm saying? He's so involved that the people that's hired to do those jobs, he overrides them. And so, yeah, man. So him being sensitive about that, I don't think that was right. And that's what JJ and them are saying. Now, at the same time, these players, you benefit from the social media too. Everybody that got good back in the day, most of it was word of mouth. You got overhyped players making it to the NBA over players that's better than them. A lot more than you used to. You know what I'm saying? You could have players back in the day come from D2s and everything. That's why you have more D2, D3 players getting looks. They'll get in the league and actually contribute. Like, you look at where Dennis Rodman came from. You know what I'm saying? You get players, Ben Wallace, you get those guys having prominent roles on teams. And the social media era, you'll get guys overhyped, and they'll benefit from it. They'll get to the highest level, not because they can't play, but I mean, and I ain't saying that because they can't play. I'm just saying it's a lot of players better than them that just don't get the hype sometimes. So, the social media works both ways, man. I think KD is extra. He's one that's extra sensitive. At the same time, those players back in the day didn't have to endure it. Like, everything is, everything is right now. What have you done for me lately? You suck after having a bad game. After a bad game, not a slump. If you don't hit somebody's sports gambling numbers, you suck. You sorry now. So I see what they saying. I definitely see what they saying, but nobody's going to feel like their era is less sensitive. They just taking up for the era that they are favoring. And, back in the day, some of the guys, like, for JJ to say that, right, and Jay to say that, if you go back beyond Jordan and those guys' years, I mean, so not even that. Like, Patrick Ewing was supposed to go to Carolina, or he was thinking about it, but some racist junk happened when he was on campus. That was back, in the 80s in North Carolina. So, they were going through things like that, where you feel like you could still be lynched if you end up on the wrong road or whatever. And, Bill Russell, let's not get into what they went through. So I think what the older players are saying is what they are sensitive about. And what JJ and Jay is saying is Jordan is sensitive about a similar thing. So where is there room to talk when your greatest of all time was sensitive? So everybody is sensitive to some things. It's just all about how you react to it, and how does it brush off your back? Do you let it be water under the bridge, or are you going to harp on it, or are you going to just internalize it and use it for motivation and fuel? That's what it boils down to, man. But look, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.